The head of Christ is God, God the Father. The Lord Jesus Christ is the eternally begotten of the Father. So the Lord Jesus Christ is eternally begotten of the Father. He comes out of the Father. The Father is his head. The head of the woman is man. If we should most certainly believe the creation account as it's given in the Bible, and it says that man was created as the image and likeness of God, and the Lord then took out of Adam, as Adam being the source, the woman to be with him. Now, so in doing that, you should not think of God the Son as subordinate in some awful way to God the Father. Neither should you think of a woman being subordinate to a man in some awful way, since these are likenesses of one another. It goes on to say in 1 Corinthians 11 that Christ is the head of man. Now, that is every man, not just the believing man, but Christ is the new Adam. He is the second Adam. He is the Son of Man, out of which all men are reckoned by God, out of Christ's work, out of his death, out of his sleep, as Adam was put to sleep and woman was brought forth out of him. So every man is brought forth out of Christ by the work of Christ. So in all these things, we're not talking about some sort of terrible hierarchy of control. That's not what's being discussed. What's being discussed is there are distinctions in God's designs of how God has arranged things. Now, the issue of whether a woman today is to put a veil over her head at worship or not is open to churchly practice, as whether or not we wash each other's feet. It was the practice in Jesus' day for disciples to wash their master's feet. I don't know of any church that I've heard of where every Sunday morning somebody is assigned to wash the feet of their pastor as a universal principle for how those who are learning from the God-appointed teacher are supposed to respond to him. It was just a custom of that time that's what they did. And so when Jesus washed his disciples' feet, it was decidedly a very, a reversal of that custom, because the universal custom was love one another as I have loved you. And Jesus used that tradition within the worship practices of his day to demonstrate what that looks like. So the issue of the veiled head of the woman may not be the same today as it was 2,000 years ago. But what is the key principle of the teaching is that there is a design and a proper distinction between God and man, even though God has aligned himself with man. And there is a proper distinction between who is the man and who is the woman in the church. We don't throw off those distinctions and claim that God no longer has an order, and it no longer matters if someone is male or female. So the principle in Paul's teaching about the head coverings for church is that we are to honor God's design for the way things are.